And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day.
A few things I'd like to point out. First of all, these lights in the heavens, previously identified as stars and planets. Well, according to this, they are in the firmament, as in within our firmament. They're not outside there floating around in outer space millions and billions of miles and light years away. No, they're right here within the firmament of Earth. And that's going to be a really big problem for you if you want to continue affirming this conventional secular astronomy. Because we've all been taught that these stars are the same thing as our sun. In fact, our sun is just a medium-sized star. Some are even way bigger than our sun, but they're trillions of miles away. And a lot of them are encompassed by their own unique solar systems that are complete with similar planets to the ones that we supposedly exist on in our solar system. And we're taught that beyond these stars exist even more galaxies with new sets of stars, and so on and so on. But how could any of that be true if it was all placed within the firmament of Earth? And then God made 2 great lights, according to the text. A greater light to rule by day and a lesser light to rule by night. And obviously this is the sun and moon, created on day 4, long after the earth was initially created. And where did God place these 2 lights? Again, they are right here within the firmament of earth. And if you would just allow yourself to consider this notion that perhaps the biblical creation account is literally true, then maybe you can start asking the right questions about this nonsense that you've been taught from the world. Because for a scientific community that prides itself in rationality and reason, they sure do depend on a lot of unlikely coincidences to maintain this godless worldview. Pun intended. Okay, here's an example. Our sun is said to be 400 times larger than our moon. And yet, when you compare both of them in the sky, they appear to be identical in size, right? Well, how could this be? Well, conveniently, the sun is also said to be 400 times further away from us than the moon is. What an amazing natural occurrence of uncanny precision. They say that the sun is 93 million miles away from the moon, the exact distance required for both bodies to appear the same in size. And according to the experts, it's just a matter of coincidence. Oh. My God.
Guys, look around. Just try looking around.
This is insane right now. Oh. This is just unbelievable. What?
Oh my God.
What is happening? This is absolutely insane.
There's the peak!
I feel like it's hard to breathe. Oh my God. This is so totally creepy.
Oh my God, the sun is creepy.
Oh my goodness. This feels so weird.
Look at the sunrise, dude! It's at every direction!
Oh my goodness. There's like sunset, sunrise, every direction. People are going nuts. This I did not expect. I don't know what I expected, but...
Oh my God! Oh.
What?
And then by another supposed coincidental miracle of natural science, our moon happens to be oriented in such a specific way in relation to the sun and the earth that it just happens to catch and reflect sunlight back towards us so that we have enduring light throughout the nighttime. And despite our modern conception of the moon just being a giant rock that's reflecting sunlight back at us, let's be clear that the Bible describes the moon to be itself a source of light, the lesser light. And check out this amazing finding from the late and great Rob Skiba during one of his investigations regarding moonlight.
Hey guys, Rob Skiba here. It's about 5 minutes to 5 p.m. January 18th. I am shooting a video of my shadow as it is being cast by the sun setting behind me. Now, today's one of those days where the moon is up at the same time as the sun. I want to point something out to you. There's the moon, and we're told that the moon reflects the light of the sun. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to angle my iPhone here to the direction of the shadow. Okay, so the shadow is perpendicular to the angle that my phone is right now. See, it's about a half moon, and so you would think if the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, then the source of the light that would cast that type of shadow should be directly across from it, somewhere up here, in this direction, right? Directly parallel to the light source. Should be right across from it, right? But it's not. The sun's way down here. So how is the sun way down here getting that angle of a shadow on the moon? Why isn't it doing the same thing to the moon that it's doing to me? So it's a nice sunny day here in Dallas, Texas. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A couple days ago I got this pretty cool gizmo in the mail. I ordered this Centec infrared thermometer. Basically you just pull the trigger and point it at something and it will tell you the temperature in Celsius and Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, switch it from Celsius to Fahrenheit, pull the trigger and test the sunlight in the parking lot here. And it looks like it's 48.5. So now that's in direct sunlight. I'm going to go over here to the shadow of this bush and try it again. And 28.4. So it's about 20 degrees colder here in the shade of this bush than it is in the direct sunlight. Now I'm going to give this another test next time it's a full moon. I'm not sure when the next full moon is, but I've been told that it's pretty much the direct opposite when you measure shadows of moonlight and direct moonlight. So
hello, my name is Jerry Rogers, and I'm a little podunk town south of here called, or north of here called Shallowater, and we're going to do a moonlight test. And the moonlight currently in the shade, I'm going to get a recording of somewhere around 40 degrees. And then we go over here to the moonlight full on, and we've got 32.5, 33, somewhere right in that area. And you can go right back over here, around to 40.
now, would that be because we're looking at incandescent light coming down right here, or
if you want to go over there, I don't care.
It's the same either way.
It's either way. Apparently the moon don't seem to matter.
Okay.
Just as long as you can get the moon.
There's a shadow like right here,
and the shade of the moon.
So that's the shade. And the shade is 39 degrees.
And then you go to the moonlight, and you got 32. Wow. Or 33, 32, 33.
Is it more dramatic when it gets darker?
It seems to be more dramatic when the moon is fullest.
So the moon, like a full moon,
like the fullest
and a completely
moon,
dark night.
Sometimes 12 degrees.
12 degrees. So
yeah.
the more full the moon is, the cooler it is?
It seems to be.
It's a half moon right now.
Don't ask me why, because I don't know. But I know it works every time I've tried it, everywhere I've tried it. Don't matter if I'm at the ranch or in Shallowater, or went over to my 85-year-old uncle's house and did it in his front yard, and he made me go buy him one.
And so when it comes to our world's perspective and outlook on outer space and astronomy and cosmology, I would say that divine creation seems to be more likely and more reasonable than the alternative. And it doesn't rely on one single highly unlikely coincidence, let alone dozens. I think that the sun and moon appear to be the same size because they probably are the same size. They're lights in the sky. There's one that rules by day, and that one is bright, and then there's one that rules by night, and that one is dim. I mean, look at this. Is this really a giant rock in the sky? Or is this a light source? I mean, I honestly don't know what it is. But one thing I do know is that it only exists for the purpose of providing light to the earth. And now consider the magnitude and size of the sun. You know, scientists say that the sun is about 109 times larger than Earth. So if you imagine something of that scale being stuffed within the Earth's firmament, I just don't think I need to explain why that doesn't work with Genesis 1. You know, and all of the stars in the sky are also said to be within the vaulted dome of the firmament. So I'm no mathematician. I just don't see how you can fit all these different planets, some of which are way larger than Earth, as well as the sun, which is almost 110 times larger than Earth, as well as a whole bunch of other suns, which are sometimes up to 100 times larger than our sun, which would make it an incalculable amount of times bigger than Earth. And all of this is supposedly crammed within the firmament of Earth in Genesis 1. You know, and we got to ask, is the Bible being literal when it says,
Mark 13, but in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Revelation 6. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
Because when a fig tree is shaken by a mighty wind, then all the branches literally fall down to the ground, right? And is this poetic language? I don't know, but what it's saying here is that the stars are going to fall to the earth, you know, and if these stars are actually giant suns, again, sometimes which are up to 100 times larger than our own sun, then you're going to have to explain to me how it's going to look when they all fall onto the surface of our little planet over here. And I know, you're thinking that this is all obviously figurative language, you know, it's not being literal. It's not intended to be interpreted literally. Maybe that's what some of you are thinking. You know, and after all, this verse is from a prophecy in the book of Revelation, so, you know, perhaps it's just a metaphor. Or maybe it's just describing comets. But then again, maybe the Star of Bethlehem was also a comet. You know, that's what a lot of people are saying now. You know, and actually stars are even described as angels at some points in the scriptures, you know, as the hosts of heaven. So there's a lot to speculate about, but one thing that the Bible definitely does not depict stars to be is enormous balls of gas and plasma trillions of miles away. In fact, if we're honest, the Bible does not describe any of this cosmological stuff the way that our textbooks do. And if we're going to shrug it off as metaphorical, poetic, or figurative, how can we trust that the biblical flood or any of these other miraculous works are to be perceived literally if we're willing to just dismiss and disregard the specific details of the first 4 days of creation?